Eagles, Washington Commanders. Final preview episode this week. Preview, keys to victory, final score prediction. We'll give it to you all. Trending in the AM, live on Philadelphia Sports Network in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, you know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe buttons. It is free to do it. Does not cost you a thing to help out this show by hitting those share buttons and like buttons and building that algorithm. Whatever an algorithm is, it builds it. It supposedly does. But that's what we want. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network, where your opinions actually matter. And it is the final Football Friday show of this week. We got lots to talk about. Eagles, Washington Commanders, huge division rival here this week for us. We're going to break down the keys to victory, the Eagles team and where they're at, Washington, who they are at this point. We'll take a look at all the other games around the NFL. Yes, Lions with a big win last night, Mad Chatter. Big as in, dominating. Learn a little bit about that Detroit Lions team last night. And basically, it was the Montgomery show last night for them. The Lions and Packers were both in my top 10 power rankings because I just didn't know who they were. And now, after last night's game, even though we didn't watch it, from what I've read about the game, it was Detroit. Detroit's the better team there for sure. Detroit's the early front runner to win that NFC North for sure. NFC leader Eagles, 49ers, Lions is the third best team. Let's finish week 4. Let's finish week 4 first. Dude, YouTube notifications about as useful as Jordan Love. Really? You don't get the notification. I literally just went live 2.5 minutes ago. So do the notifications not work very well on YouTube? I don't have any notifications turned on my phone. I don't let anything come through on my phone other than text messages and phone calls. There's just way too many apps. So I don't know. But I guess the YouTube. So you hit the like and share and subscribe button and just set a personal alarm every single day for 8:15 not to miss the show. I've heard other people say this too, K1. You're not the first person to say that the notifications have failed them. Take that up with YouTube though. Football Friday. That's right. Let's go Birds, Adam. We got lots to talk about. Thank you to Adam and everybody that tuned into my Phillies special last night at 7:00. If you want to listen to a little baseball talk, a little playoff talk, go back and catch the replay of that. What is up, Becky? Big P. That's right. I am always Big P to you, Becky. What is going on? But we got lots to talk about today. Eagles, Washington Commanders. We'll get into the rest of the NFL in a little bit. But let's get started on this Eagles, Washington big division match. Packers do not value O-line, so Love does not have time to wind up. Yeah, I mean, you see that across a lot of teams, and this is where people are complaining about, the tush push with the Eagles, and we're not going to get me all triggered on it again today, even though there's more reasons to do it. If you build in the trenches like the Eagles do, offense and defensive line, then you're setting your team up for a foundation of success for long term. Notification. We're going to spend this show bashing YouTube notifications. Talk about getting dings on my account. Bashing YouTube is probably not the best thing for me to do, but seems like everyone's having notification problems. Facts. Just the facts, man. I thumbed you, but I pass on baseball. That's okay. I love it. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Happy Friday, Jim. How you doing? Great show last night. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun talking baseball. You guys don't allow me the time to talk the Fighting Phils, so I might have to do a weekly nighttime baseball show throughout the playoffs, talking Phillies, just to get my baseball in right now. Go to settings on your iPhone and allow notifications from your YouTube apps. See? Mr. helping everybody out. Yes, it's the brotherly show. It's going to take me a long. I still can't say Aqua Bowman's name. and you think I'm going to remember to change from tush push to brotherly shove, you're talking at least a month before I get that right. I misunderstood. I thought today was Phillies, but I realized that's last night. Oh man, you want me to talk Phillies, Judd? I could do it. I could do it. Happy Friday to you too as well, Nick. Go Birds, go Phils. Love the winning culture in the sports city. Absolutely. Outside of the Sixers, right? Because at this moment, there's not much of a winning culture coming out of the Wells Fargo Center, period. Ancient Chinese proverb: "Show me thy O line, and I will show you their trophies." Yeah, well, let's get another trophy here in Philadelphia, and week 4, um, Aqua Bowman is greater than Jet. Aqua Bowman will go down as the greatest Philadelphia Eagle to never play for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, the brotherly shove. Yes, 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 yes. It's going to take me a long time to get used to saying that. I even showed up last night. You did, and I appreciate you. Core 12 in the house. We will not talk baseball today. There's too much football on the agenda. Yes, there's way too much football on the agenda. All right, so Eagles, Washington Commanders. We know who the Eagles are. We're going to talk about the Eagles a lot and what we want from this Eagles team. But I think first, for us to really get a good idea on how this weekend's game is going to go, and there's a lot of people thinking huge blowout of the Washington Commanders. A lot of people are predicting Eagles by 20, 30, whatever. And you got to really look at who Washington is so far this year. They're a 2-1 team. So 2 wins. I mean, I can tell you that their 2 wins came by a combined 5 or 6 points. But then we spent the first 2 weeks talking about it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. So the team has won 2 out of 3 games. Now, last week they did get smoked by Mad Chatter's Buffalo Bills. And they looked atrocious last week against Buffalo. And we got to talk about why. Please don't disrespect the great Frank Gore. Yeah, he was the greatest Eagle to never suit up for the Eagles for sure. We are going to crush the Commanders. Probably. But how and why? I was about to say, what about Frank Gore? No, no. Aqua Bowman. Because Aqua Bowman doesn't actually exist. There is no football player named Aqua Bowman who got traded to the Eagles. So Frank Gore is at least a real person. Aqua Bowman doesn't exist. So just got to say that right there. So who are our Washington Commanders, the opponents this week? Well, they are a team that's kind of in my opinion, a very interesting place. They're grooming a young quarterback in Sam Howell, yet they got a lot of talented people around him, i.e., Brian Robinson. I thought Antonio Gibson, but he's been an afterthought in them. Terry McLaurin, one of the best wide receivers in football, that doesn't get the credit he deserves. They have a talented offense, but what they don't have is an offensive line. Sam Howell's thrown 5 interceptions through 3 games. That's not good. It's only one more than Jalen Hurts has thrown. Well, one more turnover than Jalen Hurts. The thing with Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders is they've got their quarterback. They think. I don't think so, but they think. They have a great wide receiver. They have their running back. But they have an awful offensive line. Sam Howell has been sacked 19 times this year. They've only played 3 games. That is an average of 6 plus sacks a game. That not 15. It wasn't 19. It's 15. No, yeah, 19 sacks. That's over 6 sacks a game. I doubted myself. I know I had researched that before. I'm like, did I really see 19? They have sacked the opposing teams through 3 weeks have sacked Sam Howell 19 times. That is atrocious. Atrocious, atrocious, atrocious. So that's the first key matchup and key part of this game is don't let Sam Howell get comfortable. Sam Howell's got almost 700 yards. He's got a couple touchdown passes. He's a capable thrower of the football. Is he going to be great? I don't know. Washington loves him. Washington's willing to give him time. But if you get it after him and you rattle him, he makes mistakes, obviously, with the 5 interceptions. I think we can. We've been waiting for that defensive line of the Eagles to feast, to get after the quarterback, to drop a quarterback 7, 8 times in a game. We haven't seen it. Have we had more than 2 sacks in a game yet this year? I don't think so. This is the first week. Hassan Reddick said yesterday after practice that the cast was off his thumb. so he's back to full 100%. Maybe we get our breakout Hassan Reddick game finally. But whoever it is, we have to get after the quarterback. We need to be a team. We need 5, 6, 7 sacks. We need to quarterback pressures in the double digits. That's the first key. Because any quarterback in the NFL, you give them time and they get confident. If you give any quarterback in the NFL a Terry McLaurin and they have time to throw to him, you look back at that week 2 game. He found Terry McLaurin over the middle on a wide open, not wide open, in double coverage and put a perfect ball where only Terry McLaurin could throw it or catch it. And it was a big touchdown. That was McLaurin's 1 touchdown catch of the year so far. So if you give him time, he can make the throws. It's up to us, the Eagles defense, to not let him have the time. Adam's saying Eagles win 38-10. That's a blowout. That is blowout beyond blowout right there. Washington is a team that had to come back to beat the Broncos. They barely beat the Broncos. They had to come back in that game. They barely beat the Cardinals. I think that was their first game. Was it the Cardinals? I don't even remember. Their 2 wins were against 2 very bad teams. Antonio Gibson is a fumble waiting to happen. What happened to Antonio Gibson? Like, I really want to know. Like, 2 years ago, going into the season, Washington was talking about using him in a Christian McCaffrey role. And the guy was a talented guy. He could run. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. Is it simply that he has a fumble issue now, K1? Because if that's it, I mean, I can't believe they still even have him on the team. You'd have to think some team needing a cheap running back would take a flyer on Antonio Gibson because the talent was there, without a doubt for him. Feel much bigger than barely Scary Terry. Then look, Scary Terry is a great wide receiver. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in football. We might see Jacoby Brissett by the end of the game. I think Washington put him in at the end of the game last week too. It's possible. It's possible, Adam, that Jacoby Brissett is actually a better quarterback overall than Sam Howell, honestly. But that's just my opinion. We sacked Wentz 9 times last year. Bill sacked Howell 9 times last week. Yeah, but this year we haven't really gotten home a lot on the quarterback. So it's up to us to actually follow through. When a quarterback's been sacked 19 times, that's 6.1, 6.2 times. You better get 5 or 6 sacks. Otherwise, that means your defensive line had a bad day. Like, you got to get after them. You got to prove your dominance. The Eagles have the best defensive line in football right now, with Carter, Davis, Cox in the middle, Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, whoever else, Dark Barnett, who's actually played pretty well and kept his problems in check this year. We need to be able to get Nolan Smith. Sean Desai said his plays or his snaps are going to start upticking a little bit. You better be able to get 5, 6 sacks at a minimum this weekend against Washington. At a minimum. Why do teams not build O-lines? I don't know. What's the point of building the weapons if you can't build your offensive line first? Now, not every team is going to build an offensive line with the Eagles, where you got 5 all-pro guys on it. But you better go out there and get a strong left tackle and a strong center right away, and then build out the rest of the offensive line from there. But some teams don't have 1 good offensive lineman, let alone 5 like the Eagles do. This is a get-right game for Hassan Reddick. Yeah, Hassan Reddick sounded very confident after getting his cast off and talking about that, about being healthy and being 100% going into this weekend. He still was getting pressures with the cast on. He still played okay this season. He just hasn't gotten anywhere near that level of production from last year yet. I know it doesn't matter, but I'd like to see a ridiculous amount of sacks. I want to see the vets eat, and I want to see the young boys eat. Yeah, I want to see Carter. I want to see Davis get another one. Brandon Graham needs one. I don't think he's got a sack yet this year. Josh Sweat, we all hyping him up this year. He's getting pressure. He's just not getting home. Reddick, we need double digits from Reddick. I need 2 sacks from Hassan Reddick and maybe even 1 from Nolan Smith this week. Frank Ragno, what? I don't know. Remember, we hung 9 on these boys last year. We could do it. And they had a bad offensive line last year, Washington, and they didn't spend enough assets rebuilding. It's easy to say, the Eagles, offensive line, and they got Jeff Stoutland and stuff, but it's not as easy as it seems. Because there's so many teams around the league that miss on draft picks. Penny Sewell. Is he still in Detroit, I think, right? Play hurts Easy, don't risk injury, run Kenny G and Swift. Oh no, there's a lot of not from me. There's a lot of Jalen Hurts doubters out there. A lot of people that were off of him all last year, even though he had an MVP caliber season, that were hoping that he struggled this year. And he has struggled in the sense of looking as elite as he did last year. He's still winning football games. You don't need to worry about looking elite when you're running the ball like they have. But I do want them to use this week to get Jalen Hurts looking good, just to get a little pressure off the back of this team. Just to get the media off the back a little bit of this team. Not that it bothers Jalen Hurts, but it might. We are the least productive defensive line. I mean, it feels like it, doesn't it? We are the most dominant. It's an oxymoron almost. Oxymoron, I think that's the right term. Um, we have the best defensive line, but the least productive defensive line. It just doesn't make sense, does it, Marshawn? How can a defensive line with so many highly graded players, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, have so little production, have so few sacks? It's like the law of averages coming down after the 70 last year, but still, geez, it's kind of weird how it's played out. Commanders will take years to recover from the Snyder error. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you meant error, but yeah, I got you. Look, I still say it. This year is just a year of flux for the Washington Commanders. They're selling their fan base on Sam Howell. I don't know if they even care. The team, Josh Harris took over the team. He left Riverboat Ron in charge to help with the transition. I still say Ron Rivera, Paddleboat Ron, is one of the first coaches fired. And next year, Josh Harris will bring in his own GM, his own coach, and then we'll see what that GM and coach think of Sam Howell, and then go from there. Maybe they draft it. Who knows how that all plays out? I think this year for the Commanders is a wash because it's just a year of flux as the new ownership takes over and gets things going the way they want. Howie will invest in the O line if there isn't a Georgia defensive player that fall to us next year. Yeah, the Eagles will always invest in the offensive line. And that's why they always I mean, this is not new to us having a great offensive line. During the McNabb era, we had a great offensive line. Hell, during the Buddy Ryan era, our offensive line wasn't awful. Ron Heller, what was the center's name? Alexander, I think. Um, Last night was all you can eat for Big Hutchinson. I didn't watch it. Like I said, I don't watch those Thursday night football games. I refuse to watch sports on streaming services. I do not want a different streaming service for every single sport. So I refuse to watch Thursday night football. Imagine not protecting your quarterback, whether it's Rodgers or Hal. Yeah. Imagine investing a draft pick, Sam Howell, or $600 billion in draft picks for Aaron Rodgers, or whoever you pick, and not getting a proper hell. Lucky for the Chiefs that Patrick Mahomes is durable as hell because they don't even invest in their offensive line. They just lucky to have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. But man, you have to invest in your line. Center is so important. Absolutely. Absolutely, the center is so important to a success from a quarterback. And they have to be on the same page all the time. They do. Hurts looks good to outsider. Eagles fans be greedy. No, the outsiders are the ones that are crushing Jalen Hurts. Who was that Georgia defensive end that the Jags drafted number one? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not really a. It's a paradox, not an axiom. Okay, sorry. It's early today, K1. It's real early today, and definitely not enough coffee yet today. Um, Jonathan Gannon defense gets a lot of coverage sacks. Sean Desai defense isn't as strong in coverage, but he's more aggressive. Well, I really that's a good point, Mister. But it's also a great transition into something that is a big concern for me this week. Obviously, if we can't get pressure, that means Sam Howell will have time to find Dotson, McLaurin, whatnot down the field. Right now, we've got on the Eagles injury report right now. Did not participate in any practices Wednesday or Thursday, both Sidney Brown and Justin Evans. So two of the four safeties on this roster have not practiced this week. Devontae Smith didn't practice either, but he's just sick. He should be fine. There's a couple limited practice guys, Cox, Jurgens, Quez Watkins, and then the rest, Dickerson. Dickerson being a full participant in practice after a knee contusion, it's a big deal. So Dickerson's on the way to play. But without Justin Evans and Sidney Brown. That means all you have is Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmonds, and they're good, but that's all you got. And Terrell Edmonds, he's not as quick as he once was. I'm extremely concerned with our safeties. Maybe this is a week that maybe Ricks or pick six Ricks or Kellen Ringo get a shot at safety, being a backup safety. Who knows? But I'm concerned about the back end of the defense this week not having Sidney Brown or Justin Evans, and I'm not even a Justin Evans fan, but I'm concerned about it. We lead the league in quarterback pressures. I don't know if we do or not, but we're not leading the league in sacks. That's for sure. Georgia Stars, high five. How are you? I don't remember Evan Mathis. He was great for the Eagles. He actually played really good for Denver as well. Didn't he go to Denver and win a Super Bowl with Eli Manning or not Eli Peyton Manning? I think he did. Although I respect your stance on not paying streaming services, you're a growing sportscaster. I don't care. I'm putting my foot down. I am not paying for Apple TV to watch 5 Phillies games. I'm not paying for Amazon Prime to watch a meaningless Lions Packers football game. I'm just not doing it. Not. Evan Mathis was so good. He was. He was actually a really, really strong lineman. The Bengals don't invest in the offensive line either. And look at Joe Burrow. Looks like a 100-year-old man out there already. Is Kelsey the most famous active center? He might be one of the most famous centers, period, of all time. Mathis was another free agent acquisition. Forget where he came from originally. Yeah, and then he was only here for 3 or 4 years, and then he went to Denver and won a Super Bowl out there. I'm pretty sure. Good rest game for injuries. No, this is not a rest game for the Eagles. This is a division rival. The Washington Commanders always play us well. We always play them well. This is a game you want to win, and you have to win. I think our secondary and coverage is much better since having injured players back. Yeah, but that now we've got 2 injured players back injured in Justin Evans and Sidney Brown. So I'm really, really concerned about what happens if Sam Howell gets time and McLaurin goes over the top about making those plays. Trayvon Walker is the defense. Yeah, there you go. I don't even know how he's doing. I kind of totally forgot about him, honestly. Ed Reed Blankenship has 2 picks in 2 games. That man is the white on rice in coverage. Maybe Ed Reed Blankenship, has another pick tonight or Sunday. Maybe it would be nice. I would even skip the Bills game if I had to them ESPN Plus. Eagles 30, Commanders 12. That's about somewhere in the neighborhood of what I'm leaning with, Mark. I got 4 scores as always written down. We'll figure this out by the end of the show, what I actually go with. But that's a pretty fair. Only thing is that means you're thinking mostly extra point or mainly field goals. I do think the Commanders probably get at least 1 touchdown in the game. Um, Very hard to keep a team out of the end zone. Very hard. Any team over the course of 60 minutes of football. So we'll see. But that's a pretty close and fair expectation for Sunday. Mathis was a forgotten signing in the offseason of the Dream Team. Turned out to be the best signing. Was he the Dream Team offseason? Wow. For as bad as that offseason was, Evan Mathis was a great one. For sure. Evan Mathis was an anomaly. He was so undersized. Guy was built like a tight end, but so effective. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with that. Ed Reed Blankenship is this year's TJ Edwards in terms of production. Well, let's just hope that he doesn't have, a leveling out like TJ Edwards did last year, because I wasn't very big on TJ Edwards later in the year last year. Also, Ed Reed Blankenship, I kind of feel like is part of the future of this team. I never felt TJ Edwards was part of the future of this team. So if you hate streaming services, hit the thumbs up. Exactly. We've only got 14 likes on this video so far on YouTube, only 2 on Facebook, 1 being mine. So make sure you hit that like button, guys. It greatly helps. And especially if you hate the streaming services, hit that like button if you didn't get notifications turned on for today. Hit that like button for any reason whatsoever. Keith, what is up, my man? This is not a competitive game. Why are you so worried? Did I say I was worried? I'm just bringing up things that are questionable. The safeties are questionable this game. I've got three blowout scores written down here on my paper and 1 semi-close score, but none of my predictions that I have written down here are the closest prediction I've written down is a 14-point win for the Eagles. I am not worried about this game. I'm bringing up just topics of what we might have to look at this Sunday and things we need to think about before making the prediction. It's not going to be a competitive game. Washington, I think I had Washington, 5 wins this season, 4 wins. They've already got 2 of them. They're not a good team. They're not a competitive team. Sam Howell is not the answer at quarterback. He's just a placeholder till the new ownership gets their guys in there. If you had to get ESPN Plus, would you skip an Eagles game? No, because they're streaming. There's plenty of fake sites on there where I can go get my stuff. If I wanted to watch the Detroit game last night, I could have. There are plenty of apps. If you need a place to watch sports for free, send me a DM. I'll send you the link. I got a great site. I've watched a lot of out of market Eagles games when I was out of town. So it's very possible. Cough, cough, Pirate Stream, cough, cough. Yeah. If you're going into Super Bowl next week, what position is your biggest concern? Well, we're not going to the Super Bowl next week, but safety right now. The fact that we have 2 of our 4 safeties on our active roster not participating in practice yet this week, it's a big concern. One's got a hamstring issue, which lingers, and the other has a neck issue, which could be a problem. And Justin Evans, I mean, he's got a neck issue. He's been injured a lot throughout his career, so that concerns me. Concerns me massively. Well, T.J. Edwards is a linebacker. Howie was never going to pay him. Exactly. That's why I never thought he was part of the future. I want to talk linebackers for a second. What if Nicholas Morrow comes out again? And it's interesting because we are now going into week 3 of no Nakobe Dean. His third, no, this is third week on IR or second. Anyway, we have not heard one update on Nakobe Dean and whether Nakobe Dean is progressing in his rehab to come off of IR. And I'm throwing this out there, throwing it out there. Is Nicholas Morrow potentially going to steal the starting job from Nakobe Dean if he has another good game this week? Because let's be honest, the 2 starts that Nakobe Dean or Nicholas Morrow's had have been outstanding. He's played really, really well. Could we see Nicholas Morrow steal that starting job? I'm thinking there's a chance. I'm thinking there's a chance. I got ESPN Plus to watch Monday Night Football. Yeah, I would never. I would never pay for a football game. There's too many free sites out there that you can watch it on. And I've gone out of town. I've been in Florida during December and January. Been in the mountains, and there's plenty of free sites to watch the games that you want for all sports. I can pull up an Eagles game, a Phillies game, a Flyers game, a Sixers game, anything. Well, I had people when I was in Mexico last week, and they didn't have a package. They just had whatever games were nationally televised. I had fans from other cities that were there. I was putting it into their phones for them. I had people watching games from all over in the sports bar at the resort. So this is the NFL, not the NBA. Every game is a big contest. Exactly. And so Washington should be a blowout, but it is a division rival. Don't people worry about division rivals anymore? I want to jump down because I see a Nakobe Dean comment from a man Yas here. Nakobe Dean is going to start again when he's healthy. So there's nothing that Nicholas Morrow can continue to do over the next couple of weeks to make the Eagles think, can't take the hot hand out. I mean, because I was a very big Nicholas Morrow is very mid-type guy. I didn't even think he deserved to make the team. He didn't make the team. But now he's come in the absence of Nakobe Dean and played damn well. And I'm excited about it because there's a certain spark from him. And Morrow and Zach Cunningham seem to have a really good combination connection back there. They both are in the right places at the right time. Look, I'm just saying. I agree. Nakobe Dean probably starts as soon as he's healthy, but maybe maybe they have a short leash on him. And if because week 1, let's be honest, Nakobe Dean wasn't anything special in week 1 at all. I mean, I know it's his first game action and whatnot, but wasn't anything special. So I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on. But Nicholas Morrow going out on Sunday and having another fantastic game against a bad Washington team, will go along to him trying to steal those snaps from Nakobe Dean. Boomer Tech, no Twitter. How he signed, traded for players who get injured often. He knew the risks. Yeah, I mean, you look at a lot of the players on this team right now. There's a lot of injury-prone players. For the most part, most of them have stayed healthy. But that is a big risk this season. A lot of the guys have injury. Yeah, you got to send me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, somewhere. You got to find me on a social media page and send me a DM, and I will send you the link. without a doubt. Nakobe will be a stud by November. Maybe. I hope. It'd be great. NFL and sports in general are slowly moving to a subscription service. They are. And it's going to piss me off. It really is. I don't want to have to pay. I saw somebody complain the other day that they're trying to cut the cord and go to all streaming services. But internet is still going to cost them $120 a month. That's what we need. We don't need more subscription services. We need people to create more internet options for in-home that are strong enough to stream and do different things. Because right now, Comcast and Fios are the two only options. And in my town where I live, I only have one option, Fios. And if I cancel my cable subscription to Fios, I'm still going to pay a crap ton of money for the internet, which then makes YouTube TV or Hulu Live or whatever still just as expensive. So it's not worth it, and I hate it. I think Morrow has stolen the spot. I love Dean, but he's always hurt. Marshawn, I don't know if he's stolen it yet, but I think this week and maybe next week, one or two more great games, we're going to have that discussion. It says Dean will miss another 3 games due to the foot injury. All right, so he hasn't progressed quick enough to come immediately back. But yeah, he'll miss at least 3 more games. So he's got 3 more weeks then that Nicholas Morrow to prove that he's the starter. It's kind of easy to start. Just go and start a Twitter account. It's not hard to do. The fact that Morrow is getting such love just shows how dominant our D line has been. That's actually a very interesting point there. A great offensive line and a great defensive line makes the rest of their side of the ball so much better. The secondary is better because of the defensive line. The linebackers are better because of that defensive line. And I think that's a fair point. Maybe in a different situation, Nicholas Morrow isn't impressing if the defensive line is not getting pressure, is not getting so much, push up the middle. So I think that's a very fair point, K1, for sure. Dean is more hurt than his last name hurts. Maybe you're trying to be funny, but I'm not going to chuckle too much on that one. Morrow is jagged. Nobody or Nakobe Dean has to stay healthy this season. Otherwise, they're going to be a serious question about his future. Yeah, I mean, this is his second year in Philly. There's a reason why he dropped to the third round. There's a reason why he had first round potential, but dropped to the third round. So, yeah, high risk, but very high reward on those signings. Absolutely. TMC needs a homing pigeon. Dude, Nicholas Morrow is not worthy of Al morning topic. Uh, look, I'm just bringing the conversation to it. I'm Keith. Look, give me something else. Nakobe Dean better get healthy soon. That's why Jason Kelsey never missed games because he didn't want someone taking his spot. I don't have a problem with somebody missing a game if they're hurt. I don't want them risking long-term injuries. One of those big football accounts on some social media shared a video of like all these vicious hits and with a quote of saying, "Don't we miss this style of NFL?" I'm like, no, I don't miss it. Yeah, big hits are fun, but we talked about it yesterday. The NFL is a safer sport now. We're so much smarter than we were as people 20 years ago. We don't need to be the vicious Neanderthal sport. We could still have big hits safely. We don't need to end people's careers, and we don't need to force people to play through injuries. We just don't. It's a matter of time. Super Bowl is pay-per-view at $250. Dude, if that happens, Mark, the Super Bowl would lose so much. There's no way that what's the Super Bowl watched by? 50, 70 million people? The ratings would plummet on that. You would have the hometown. I wouldn't pay for a Super Bowl if the Eagles weren't in it. I wouldn't pay $250 to watch a random Super Bowl. Now, I would pay if the Eagles were in it, but that's about it. Smoke signals, okay. You gotta light the fire on the top of the mountain so that the next mountain over has to light their fire and whatnot, or whatever that's called in TV shows and movies. Morrow has been a very good Phil. You're right. Dean job could be in jeopardy. Could. It's not yet, but it could be. And this week starts another week of him, pushing forward like that. We'll see. Jordan Davis is so athletic for a massive human being. He was the right pick over Hamilton, the safety. I forgot about him. Didn't he go to the Ravens? That safety? I really wanted that safety in the draft. I really did. I really liked him a lot. But I knew the Eagles don't invest first-round picks in safeties. How's he doing? Is he having a good career so far? I'm not sure. I think his rookie year he was really good. I'm not sure. But yeah, Jordan Davis. Um, I still feel that if Jordan Davis and Jordan Mailata lined up against each other in a practice and ran into each other head on in one of those tackling drills, that would actually register on the Richter scale as an earthquake. They're just two behemoths of people, and Jordan Davis is so big and so strong. He's having a coming out party this year, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm sassy today, am I? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I'm a little tired today. Injury will dictate Dean snaps. Nicholas Morrow isn't worthy. Keith is not a Nicholas Morrow fan. Look, he's won me over a little bit. Hard agree about the defensive line. They've kept the linebackers clean, raised their level of play. It's part of the team. It's part of being part of a team. The offensive line makes the quarterback look better. The quarterback makes the offensive line look better. A great wide receiver can make a quarterback look better. Great players help the rest of their team look good. Um, but the defensive line definitely is making a difference on all levels of the defense this year. Salty Phil is the best Phil. You haven't seen Salty Phil yet. You just haven't. Not yet. Phil got more salt than McDonald's fries. They're disgusting, McDonald's fries. There, I said it. McDonald's is disgusting, period. Just going to say it. People who have never played the game want to watch people hurt each other. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, man. Nick, what was it, Don something or whatever? I forget who the guy is that shared that video yesterday. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, haven't we grown up enough? Have we grown up enough to realize we gotten smarter? We know we don't need people getting hurt. We don't. Moscatelli is heavily invested in the Mets, invested in Meta. Yeah, Marky C. He did a great job with me on the Philly show last night. He likes his Facebook. Oh, old people like Facebook. I can't help it. They can't help it. They're not smart enough to invest in other account and other media sites. Although Mark does have quite a few Twitter burner accounts. I'll just say that Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, yeah, but is he playing well or not? I'm not sure. Here's a topic: how do we match up with the Miami offense? That's our first bit of competition. I have concerns. Look, it depends on how healthy we are. I'm concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm saying I'm focused on Washington because that's this week's game. This is the last episode before that game. But Miami, look, Miami's not going to score 70 and put up those kind of numbers every single week. But we need a healthy secondary. I don't care how great our defensive line is. If Tua has even 3 seconds back there to find Tyreek Hill, Slay and Bradbury need help. And with Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmonds being the only safeties on this team right now, if Justin Evans and or Sidney Brown's injuries are serious enough that they're going to miss several weeks, Howie Roseman better not be waiting to bring another safety in. Because I don't want to trust Kellen Ringo being transitioned to safety this early in his rookie season. We need help in the secondary, without a doubt. What's up, Travis? How you doing? Nolan is getting more reps, Desai said. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. That's fantastic. I'd like to see it. He's getting help. The thing with Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick so far has been they came out of camp banged up. Reddick was playing through it, just was not 100%. Nolan had the shoulder injury. It was probably a little worse than they let on, where he was still just not at 100%. Nolan's going to be a factor here in the next couple of weeks, without a doubt. Phil is tapped because we did a special. Yeah, I was drinking whiskey. It was one glass of whiskey. It was one rocks glass. It was like 8 ounces of whiskey. That's it. Come on, Mark. It was one drink. Doesn't count what I had after the show too, because I did have more after the show as well. Keep Finn's offense on the sideline. Run the damn ball. Yeah, like everybody talks about how bad Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts hasn't had to be good. I'm okay with this Eagles team continuing to run the football at will against opponents. I do not care if Jalen Hurts has 150 yards passing this week, as long as we win big. If 150 yards passing means we have another 250 yards rushing, I'm good with that. I could care less. What's the over-under side plays our cornerbacks in press coverage? Over-under 0.5% chance? I don't know. You would think that they eventually should, but it seems to not be a Philadelphia Eagles philosophy. When I played football in high school and college, I used to dream of laying a massive hit. It would automatically make me a god in the locker room. I get it, but we're smarter than that. We're more advanced as humans than that. Not to have to. It starts at those high school and middle school levels, teaching proper techniques on how to tackle, to hit around the body. You can still hit hard in the body. Plus, you might force a fumble. Going for the head, going for the knees, it's just not necessary anymore. We got to start teaching early how to properly tackle so that in 5 to 10 years, maybe the game is a little different. I think Sirianni's saving Carter for the important games late in the season. How's he saving Carter? I mean, Carter's still playing a decent amount. He played 42% of snaps last week. That's not bad for a rookie. So, and when he's out there, he's playing he's playing effectively when he's out there. They don't lose against Miami. They are wearing Kelly Green. Kelly Green is not going to make a damn difference if we can't get after to it. We have to. I'd rather lessen Slay and Bradbury reps, Cox Graham to save them for the rivals. Well, this week's a rival. I know everybody thinks that this week is just an instant pushover because Washington stinks. And yes, Washington does stink. But rivalry games, NFC East games, are never those instant blowouts. So this is a very important game. Remember, last time we played Washington, they beat us. They weren't a good team last year either, and they beat us. Jalen Hurts has this circle. One of the games on his calendar circle. Why? Because he remembers them beating us last year. He knows. Quez Watkins wants to come back. Didn't Quez Watkins have a big fumble or drop, in that game? There's a lot of players that want revenge against Washington this week. All right, we're about on the 9 o'clock hour here. We got about 35 minutes left in the show. 21 people watching right now. We only got 3 likes on Facebook and only 15 on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm and the show grow. I greatly appreciate it. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. If you're watching this on replay later in the day or this weekend, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, drop your comments on the replay. I will go back and respond to any of your questions or thoughts. I'd greatly appreciate it. I fill it out. It keeps saying can't complete. You sign up right now. I don't know. There's got to be a way for you to DM me on some social media platform. You think Swift will get another 100 rushing yard again this week? I don't know if he will. But what I do know is that it doesn't bother me if he's hot again and the offensive line is hot again. Everyone's going, oh, Jalen Hurts didn't throw for 300 yards still, and he doesn't have this or that. I don't care. I just want to win at him. And if running the ball with Swift is the way to win, then do it. He's going to be the lead back. Now, I know last week we saw a pretty close to even split in touches with Swift and Gainwell, but a lot of those Kenny Gainwell touches were late in the game when they were just pulling Swift anyway and, running out the clock with Gainwell. Your main player is going to be DeAndre Swift when the game is close, and Kenny Gainwell, once it's out of reach. Boston Scott was back, full participant in practice, so still another opportunity where there'll be no chance for Rashad Penny to touch the football. I'm telling you, within a week or two, Rashad Penny will not be on this football team anymore. He's just not. He's not going to want to be on this football team anymore. Mosca Catelli calling Phil out as a lightweight. Dude, I had a very nice glass of Elijah Craig single barrel bourbon last night. It was delicious. One of my favorite cheaper bourbons. There are cheap bourbon whiskeys out there. Elijah Craig was on sale. Got a good deal on it. Yeah, I'm enjoying that this week. Our safety broke our rival team's wide receiver collarbone trying to make a catch across the middle. We carried him off the field. Sorry, it was cool being an idiot back then. Yeah, when you're a kid, it's cool, but it's still tough. Someone is getting signed real soon. Carter, Swift, and possibly Reddick. Well, Jalen Carter can't be signed. He's still in the first year of his deal. You can't get signed to an extension until like the third year of that contract. Swift probably can get some form of an extension. If Howie was smart, he would do the extension now, even with the injury history. Just because every game that goes by that he racks up yards and stays healthy, his cost is going up. And Reddick, I don't know what they're going to do with Reddick. I don't. They're going to wait till the offseason, I feel, on Hassan Reddick to see how Nolan Smith plays, to see how he is, and to see where the money is at the end of the season. There's a lot of guys that need paid. And Hassan Reddick, I said it before, and I don't want to get into off-season talk, Travis, because that's for the off-season. But there's a chance Hassan Reddick's not an Eagle next year if they can't work out a deal. Howie will find a way to trade him. You drafted Nolan Smith for his skill set and the fact that he was there at 30, but you also drafted him because if Reddick is not here in 2 years, then you've got the replacement already lined up. K1, my new favorite. K1's one of the core 12, Mark. He's one of the core 12. He's always coming at me for whatever idiot mistake I make. Penny is either out of here or a late season strategic player. Yeah. So Keith, here's the thing: some just at some point, if Mann is the guy at punter, he's going to have to be brought up to the active roster full time. Um, Britton Covey already got signed to the active roster. He's not on the practice squad anymore. You're going to have to cut somebody if somebody doesn't get hurt when you have to make it, addition to that roster. Or when Nakobe Dean comes off of IR, you're going to have to cut somebody. Rashad Penny's only being kept right now because, he's just a roster spot. He's not even playing on special teams. He did not touch the field of the game last week in any capacity. So it's a wasted roster spot at this point. And the Eagles have run with 3 running backs plenty over the course of the last couple of years. And you always have one on the practice squad ready to step up if needed. Rashad Penny, he's just not it. You're wasting a roster spot for him. Penny is cost-controlled emergency running back. He might be a key piece. He might be. But if everybody stays healthy, I doubt it. I mean, honestly, just say, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. DeAndre Swift goes down. The Eagles are just going to feed Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott. I'm just telling you that they love Kenny Gainwell. They love Boston Scott. Rashad Penny was brought in here to be the starter, and then, oh, shit, DeAndre Swift's available. Oh, okay, well, we don't need him anymore. Like I said, he's so cheap to cut. It doesn't hurt the team at all. It's just one of those things I see happening. Howie, this team of year will surprise us with a surprise addition. Who will it be? I don't know. And there's going to be a safety brought in, whether it's this weekend or early next week, or if the Justin Evans or Sidney Brown injury are long term, a safety will be brought in. Whether it's Jeremy Chin, whether it's Buda Baker, whether it's somebody else, a safety will be brought in here very soon. There's not going to be any major surprise. You're not going to see some big wide receiver name come in or a big time running back. They're not going to go trade for Jonathan Taylor. It is going to be a safety. I don't even think it'll be a linebacker anymore. I think it'll be a safety, and it'll be very soon. Folks forget it's a 17-game season and Swift has never played. Yeah, I know. Swift is injury prone. We know. But Swift has also not had this Eagles offensive line blocking for him where he gets so many wide open holes. Just saying. And they're using him the right way. They're protecting him late in the game like they did last week. I mean, obviously there's a chance he could get injured. There always is. Anybody could get injured. But they're doing the right thing with him. And even if he gets hurt, Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott are still going to be ahead of Rashad Penny. And say you cut Rashad Penny after this week, just say hypothetically, and say DeAndre Swift goes down. You're telling me there's not 100 running backs out there that you could bring in, just like Rashad Penny, that can get you yardage in a game with this offensive line. You can plug and play any running back and get yardage. We only have $5.7 million in cap space. The cap's fake, so I'm not worried about that at all. I do not worry about Howie Roseman. If Howie Roseman wants to go get a $50 million player right now, I don't worry about it one bit. Howie will find a way to make it work. People want Hurts hurt. That's just safe. Who wants hurt? Chris Sims wants. Don't get me started on Chris Sims again. Travis, you missed the show yesterday, man. I got fired up about that Chris Sims video yesterday. Way too fired up about it. It was an embarrassment. How the guy's still on the air, I don't know. Don't get me started. All of a sudden, I am not a Kenneth Gainwell truther. Not at all, K1. I'm just saying the Eagles are. The Eagles still probably view in their minds Kenny Gainwell ahead of DeAndre Swift, which is insanity, but they probably do. That's just what they think of Kenny Gainwell. Swift has star talent. He's just so injury prone. Yeah. This whole team has got a laundry list of players that got that injury history. You just got to hope. You got to trust in the Eagles coaching staff and medical staff. You got to trust in the usage that the Eagles are using these guys in. I mean, think about it. Kenny Gainwell had almost as many touches. There are a good 10 touches on that last drive that went to Kenny Gainwell that happened because you're protecting DeAndre Swift. You don't want to run him into the ground. And that's what they're doing. And I don't know enough about DeAndre Swift from his time in Detroit, whether his injuries were freak injuries or just worn down and overworked injuries. I don't know. I don't. Not only Sims, but others. Yeah, I mean, the Sims one was just the one that really set me off yesterday massively. All right. What else are there for keys to victory this week? against this Washington Commanders team. Obviously, there are no keys to some because we'll just steamroll them. Um, do we worry about Washington's defense at all? They gave up 36, 37 to Buffalo last week. Um, obviously, the front for Washington is fantastic. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Williams. They got a lot. They even got former Eagle Casey Toohill with a sack so far this season. Payne, Jonathan Allen. They have one real skill on this Washington Commanders team, and that is just like the Eagles' defensive line is elite. Washington's defensive line is pretty close to elite. A lot of youth in there, but pretty close to elite. Um, hold on a second here. What's this? Why did we have miscommunication with Hurts last game? That's new for him. Um, I've talked about it all offseason. New offensive coordinator, a lot of new moving pieces in the offense with DeAndre Swift. There was going to be communication issues on this team. It happens. Now, what you want to do is hope that doesn't that gets cleaned up in the practice week, and that doesn't happen again. Hopefully, next time DeAndre Swift and Jalen Hurts are on the same page. Tommy's D line didn't even touch Allen last week. You still got to respect them. You still got to respect Montez Sweat and Chase Young. You absolutely have to. And the fact that Cam Jurgens is limited participant, but trending towards playing, and that Landon Dickerson was back at a full participant in practice last week is massive. We need this offensive line to stay healthy and stay together as a unit all season long. And it's a key matchup. Our great offensive line against their very good defense. I notice I said very good. I didn't say elite like the Eagles. I said it's close to. There is a lot of talent on that defensive line. We have struggled in pass protection. You got guys like Chase Young and Montez Sweat that can get after a quarterback. I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's going to cost us the game, but it's something that could stop drives and slow drives down. It's something that could be a problem at some point in the game. You don't need Jalen Hurts taking big hits again. Jalen Hurts, 2 or 3 of the deep balls he threw on Monday Night Football, he took big hits. Big hits. We don't need that. So, that being said, a key matchup is our offensive line against their front defensive line. Now, they'll give up running plays all game long, but it's the pass protection. Swift can learn something from Shady McCoy. LaShawn never took big hits. Yeah. You would have thought he would have learned that from Barry Sanders in Detroit, because Barry Sanders was like that too. Barry Sanders knew how to get down. I love players. Russell Wilson used to be like that back in the day in Seattle. I don't know if he still is now. But he knew how to protect himself in Seattle. LaShawn McCoy knew how to protect himself. Barry Sanders knew how to protect himself. It's a big deal. When you're an injury-prone player, learning how to protect yourself is very, very important. I beg our big O-line wins the battle once again. Boring but good. Look, that's how you win. When you got a team that's got a great pass rush, you win by winning up front, running the ball. That's what you do. You win by running the ball, and then those safeties and linebackers creep in, and then you beat them over the top with our great wide receivers. Like normally, like the running game needs to set up the offense, but the running game just can just dominate. You don't even need the pass offense. It can just straight dominate. I think we'll have 5 Pro Bowl linemen make it this year. Yeah, I mean, last year I think every single one of our offensive linemen were either All Pro or second team All Pro. Last year, I think every one of our linemen made the Pro Bowl. Some as an alternate, but they did last year. Our offensive line is just that scary good. Bills have 1 stud wide receiver. We have 2, and a stud tight end, and a better O line. So you're saying that we're going to win even bigger than 37-3 K1? It's just hard for me to fathom that, considering that it's a division rival game. And Washington knows that they're going to be struggling this year, but they're going to circle the games against Washington, New York, or Philadelphia, New York, and Dallas as games that they won. Hell, we're so confident, right? Any given Sunday, guys. Remember, Dallas, and this is not a knock on Dallas or Arizona. Dallas lost to Arizona last week. Dallas is a better team than Arizona. Let's be honest. But Dallas lost. If you don't have your A game every single week in the NFL, anybody can win any given Sunday, and that proves it. Maybe we don't get 37, but commies will have no chance. But we're going to get into the final score prediction in a minute. I want to run down the rest of the NFL slate real quick with you guys. Get your thoughts on the rest of the games this week. Let me see. Give me a second here. NFL scores. All right. So we got a whole bunch of games here. Let's go over them real quick. Then I'll give you my final thoughts and predictions on this game. First game, we got our first London game. Oh, shit. I forgot about that. We got Falcons against Jaguars in London, Wembley Stadium. Jags are a 3-point favorite. Man, that's tough. The Jags have been bad, very disappointing this year. Do they get the win against Atlanta? I'm going to say yes because it's going to be like a home game for them. Jags cover. All right, so I got that. Dolphins in Buffalo at 1 o'clock. How this game is not a primetime game, I have no idea. Dolphins versus Bills in Buffalo. Buffalo's a 2.5-point favorite. This is the game of the week right here. How this game is not bigger and getting more publicity, I don't know. This is going to tell us a lot about the Bills or the Dolphins and the Bills. I'm going to go Bills win this game. Bills cover. I'm going to say it. The home team pulls out the victory. TMC is still trying to create a Twitter account. I know it's hilarious. Do you have confidence in case Mariota has to come in with the superhuman? I don't know. I don't know, Travis. I'm not sure. Don't. No, I don't have confidence. Commanders have 4 first-round draft picks on their D line. The Eagles have 1 first-round pick on their offensive line. Coach Stoutland should be in the Hall of Fame without a doubt. Join late because I've been crying about it. Yeah, yeah, they're not doing well, Kyle. Not at all. Bills will win. They will slow down the Dolphins. I think so. We're gonna get the Eagles score predictions in a minute here. I've got Jags covering, Bills covering. Next game, Broncos Bears. So we go from having the Dolphins Bills, 2 of the best teams in the NFL, going up against. Then the next game is one of the worst 2 teams in the NFL, the Broncos and the Bears. Denver's a 3.5-point favorite in that game. Yeah, I got to go Broncos. I know they're a train wreck, but the Bears are even bigger train wreck. Ravens Browns is actually another great matchup this week. There are actually some really good football games this week. This would be a week that the Eagles not playing that I'd be really into, like red zone and stuff like that. Browns at home against the Ravens. Browns are the 3-point favorite. I don't like the Browns. I don't like Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's that good. But that defense of the Browns is so good. And the Ravens offense still hasn't started clicking yet. Again, that's 4 games in a row. I got the home team covering. It's crazy. Then you got Bengals versus Titans in Tennessee. Bengals are the favorite in that game. Yeah, I think the Bengals get it going, and Bengals win outright, not just cover the 2.5. Yeah, I mean they cover. Yeah, sorry, cover because they are the favorite. The Bengals win that game. Rams Colts. Colts 2-1. Rams 1-2. It's a pick'em game right now. I don't know what to judge on this game. I don't think the Colts are that great, but I also don't think the Rams are that bad. But man, there are some tough games to pick. We have a history of backup quarterbacks: Mike Vick, Kevin Kolb, Nick Foles, Hurts. We do. And look, Marcus Mariota, Travis, wouldn't be as bad as he was in the preseason with our starters, but I still don't have confidence. I don't think he would go out there and shit the bed, but there would have to be some really, really strong performances along the offensive line, the running backs, or the wide receivers. The defense would have to be perfect too. I wouldn't trust Marcus Mariota against the Chiefs or the good teams. I would trust Marcus Mariota this week against Washington, but I wouldn't trust Marcus Mariota against the big team down the line. All right, so Rams Colts. Let's go Rams on the road, get the win. That's where I'm going to go there. The Bucks Saints in New Orleans. New Orleans is a 3.5-point favorite. Look, I can't believe New Orleans is favored in this game. I'm going Bucks, and going Bucks outright because I don't think Derek Carr's playing. Jameis Winston stinks. Eagles. We'll skip the Eagles for a second. Eagles are now 9-point favorites. It's gone up. That's even a bit crazy. Vikings at Panthers. Vikings are 4-point favorites. Yeah, Vikings get their first win of the season. I know they're 0-3, but they're better than that. They smoked the Panthers this weekend. Yeah, Rams are a sleeper win for sure this weekend. The Rams, I said it before the season. I think the Rams are going to be better than they were last year. They're not that bad. And Matthew Stafford's semi-healthy. Cooper Kupp will be back soon. They still got Aaron Donald. Panthers pulled the upset. Wow. So the Panthers, there's quite a few games this week featuring teams with 0-3 records. It's kind of crazy. Panthers pull the upset though. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. And if they do, then the Vikings are going to be in turmoil big time. Steelers at Texans. Steelers are the favorite in that game. I think the Texans win. I think the Texans win that game. Steelers, um, they're not bad. They're not good. The Texans riding high after last week's win. I think they take care of business this week. All right, then we get into the 4 o'clock games. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers are 5-point favorites. Yeah, Chargers cover that easily. The Chargers are not a great team, but they're not a bad team. Um, the Raiders are just a train wreck. Um, there's a battle going on for who's going to get fired in the NFL first head coach, and Josh McDaniels is in that battle for the first. Um, Patriots at Cowboys. Patriots are 6.5-point dogs in Dallas to the Cowboys. Cowboys get back on the winning way and cover. Sorry, Patriots. It's just the way it's going to be. 49ers are home, 3-0 against the Cardinals. It's a 14-point line. I'm going to take the Cards to cover, but 49ers win that game. It's going to be like an 8 to 10-point game. Um, Cardinals are riding high. It's a division game. That's just how I see that going. And then the Sunday Night Football, it's the Taylor Swift versus Aaron Rodgers ghost game. Chiefs are an 8.5-point favorite. Chiefs win, but Jets cover. That's how I see the Sunday games going. Let me know what you think in the comments on all those. Any of them I'm wrong on. Picking against the spread or straight. I'm looking at the spread. So some of them I'm saying cover. Some I'm saying don't cover. Some I'm saying outright, winning. Some win but don't cover. I'm going a little bit of everything here. Belichick drowns the Cowgirls. Bet 2. Ooh, I mean it would be nice. It'd be nice if that's the way it went. Man, that'd be great. We get to a 4-0 lead, 4-0 start in our division, and the Cowboys are down to 2-2. It'd be great. I just don't look. I picked the Cowboys to be the second best team in the NFC. Period, ahead of the 49ers. I still think they're a good team. They're in turmoil. They got problems, but they're still a talented football team. And eventually, Town will win out. And I don't think New England's that good of a team anyway. Staley has to get the X first, doesn't he? Staley, McDaniels, Ron Rivera, Arthur Smith. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are on the hot seat and very quickly into the season. A lot of guys. Minnesota. There's so many teams that have coaches on the hot seat right away. And I don't know who was going to be the first to go. I really thought it'd be Ron Rivera, but that might not be the case. Staley, if they lose this week, if the Chargers lose this week, it might happen this week. Everyone's going to blame Staley because Justin Herbert's so great. Justin Herbert needs to get some of the blame. Comes up small in the big moments. It's easy to pick favorites. Who picked Cardinals over the Cowboys and Texans over the Jags last weekend? I know somebody picked the Cardinals over the Cowboys on this show. I know somebody did last week. Was it Travis? I think it was Travis. Somebody did last week. That is for sure. Chiefs win. Yeah, Chiefs win. Over under 500 million people watching Sunday Night Football just to get a glimpse of Taylor Swift. Over under 50 times the NBC Sunday night broadcast crew showed Taylor Swift on TV. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm not upset or annoyed by it anymore. It's just part of life and part of football. They could break up today, and Travis Kelce made the greatest decision of his career by hooking up with her. He is making so much more money. He's so much more famous. Everything's just bigger now for Travis Kelce. Chiefs win over 50. You like that? Okay. All right. I can get behind that. Over 50. I could see something like a 31-21 game from the Jets Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Something like that. All right. So Eagles. We're down to the final 10, 11 minutes of the show. Eagles. Back to the Eagles prediction. All right. As always, I've written down 4 scores on my board here. And actually, I'm thinking I'm changing all 4 of them. I know it sounds like I'm bringing up the defensive line, stopping them for the Washington. I'm talking about getting pressure as to Sam Howell and creating turnovers and sacks. It sounds like I'm being negative or I'm not confident in a big win. It's not. It's just bringing up what could go wrong or what we need to do to win like we should. Imagine Taylor Swift broke up with Travis right before the playoffs, and then Travis would use it as motivation. Travis is just having fun. I don't even think Travis cares. Travis just wants to have a hot girl on his side, have a little fun, rub elbows with a different group of celebrities. It is what it is. I feel bad for Travis, or for I feel bad for Taylor Swift actually, because she had to hang out with Patrick Mahomes, numbskull of a wife. I mean, could you imagine? Read a rumor that they were hanging out at the party after the game and they were doing shots. Yeah, man, if I was Taylor Swift, like this is the girl I got to hang out with, man, that's got to suck. Um, little dig at Patty Boy's wife. Makes sense to date for the money. Makes me think of the last back page I paid for. But back to the Eagles game. All right, so I wrote down 4 scores here. Again, I write down 4 and then I pick one at the end of the show. I wrote down 35-20. I wrote down 31-17. I wrote down 31-10. I also wrote down 28-3. But then when I'm talking to Mark with his score of Washington scoring 12, I'm like, well, it's hard to keep a team out of the end zone. So I'm thinking of changing that 28-3. But then I'm thinking I'm just going to stick to the 31-10 because that's kind of where I've been leaning all week. And I just circled it. So I got the Eagles winning 31-10. It's a comfortable win. Our offense and defensive line win out on their defensive line and offensive line. Our quarterback is obviously head and shoulders better than theirs. Our running backs are better. Our wide receivers are better. Our tight ends are better. Find me a spot on the Commanders where they are clearly head and shoulders better than us. Now, maybe you could say Chase and Sweat is better than Sweat. Chase Young and Monto Sweat is better than Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham and Dirk Barnett. But that's not our whole, that's our defensive ends per se. But realistically speaking, they're not our defensive end. Hassan Reddick is one. Jalen Carter could get after the quarterback. There's so many different things. Maybe you could say that. But that's it. That is probably the only spot on this team that Washington is slightly better than the Eagles. And that's not saying much right there. Tress Way is a good punter. Is that their punter? I don't even know who their punter is. Tress Way could set the punting record. Well, if it goes 31-10 or 28-3, like I'm thinking, he's going to be punting a lot. There's going to be a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of 4 and outs, a lot of 5 short drives. 33-9 Eagles, Travis says. 3 field goals by Washington. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. That goes into where I was looking at 31-10. I think we're looking at about a 30 to 35 point offensive output from the Eagles. And I think that 9, 10, 12 range is spot on for Washington. I don't think their offense could put up more than that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Washington put up 17 or 20 late in the game because we're up 31-0 or we're up 31-3. And we know the Eagles, we talked about this in the offseason, wanting the Eagles to keep the foot on the pedal and not let teams back into the game. At least not back into the game. Like if they score too late and get it to within a touchdown or two, doesn't mean it was a close game. We just played prevent. Like I don't. This Eagles defense has been known for that. This Eagles team offensively, they get so conservative. Like I want to see them pushing the ball down the field in the fourth quarter. I do. What's the forecast? Give me a second. I'm pretty sure it's really good. Sunday and Monday it's supposed to really go in a positive direction. 71 game time temperature and sunny. So it's going to be warm, but not hot. It's going to be sunny. There's going to be no problem with the forecast on Sunday. Weather will play zero factor in this game. Does Donna Kelsey like Taylor Swift? I don't think she gets her approval. Jason is still the favorite child. Donna Kelsey just is loving the excitement as well. I mean, I love the dynamic between Mrs. and Mr. Kelsey, where she's in the limelight doing commercials, and he likes to stay out of the limelight. I love the difference between the two of them. It's fantastic. I feel better about this year's Eagles defense than last year. I said this yet. That there was just, I mean, we didn't spend a lot of time on it, Travis, yesterday, but that was like the title of this show yesterday was, are this year's Eagles actually better on paper than last year's championship winning team? And I think it is because you've got better players all around this team. You're deeper at so many positions. There's a lot less question marks on this team than last year's. Last year's team had to overachieve to an extent. They were great, but they kind of popped up on everybody. No one expected it. This year's team is great. We're expected to be great. We're not popping up on anybody, and we're still 3-0. So, and we still haven't played our best game yet. That's something to think about. Adonis seems like an accepting individual. She seems cool with the relationship as long as, yeah, every mama only cares about their boys' happiness, their kids' happiness. So I'm sure she loves the fact that Travis is having fun, enjoying life, and look, Travis Kelsey, I mean, he puts his social life out there a lot, but he does it the right way. It's not like it's interfering in his football and his job and his responsibilities to the team. Unlike one James Harden, who is constantly a distraction, and his social life is a distraction, and his partying is a distraction. So there's a big difference there. Like, his mom probably is happy that he's having fun, but also representing the family name well. Like he's not out there, you know, getting into trouble. He might have a different personality that rubs some people the wrong way when he's out there partying, but that's it. Like he does things the right way. The whole Kelsey family. Look, Kelsey and Jason and Travis were well raised young men. So Jalen Hurts has a girlfriend, he said, but who is she? You've seen her in a few pictures. I forget her name off the top of my head because it's so rare it's out there. She's been at a few events with him. She's gorgeous. Just say that without a doubt. No surprise there. Um, Jalen Hurts this weekend. I got 31-10. Jalen Hurts is going to have some touchdown passes this week. He's going to open up the pass. I think the running game dominates again, but I still think Jalen Hurts will get somewhere near that 250, 270-yard passing, and he's going to have 2 touchdown passes this week. 2 touchdown passes from Jalen Hurts this week. Hassan Reddick, 2 sacks this week, and give me the 31-10 victory. I think that's where I'm at for this week. I think that's a good, fair way to look at this week. Donna's nice in public, but tough in her private life. She raised 2 Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Let's not. We don't even know what Mr. Kelsey's name is really. Like you have to think about it or look it up. Honestly, because he stays out of limelight. But don't take anything. I'm sure Mr. Kelsey, Papa Kelsey, had such a big part of it as well. Hurts staying in the pocket is ballsy. Hurts staying healthy is all I want. Pocket or not in the pocket. Adam saying Jalen Hurts 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, and 1 rushing. It's still the best bet in football, Adam. I think on DraftKings as of last night, you could still get -110 on an anytime touchdown from Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's still the best value in football betting there is. You know, yeah, he's going to score a touchdown almost every single week rushing the ball. And they're going to keep running that brotherly shove down everybody's throats. The more people complain about the brotherly shove, the more the Eagles are going to run it. I want to see the Eagles just run an entire drive just with the brotherly shove. And I bet you they can march it right down the field. It would be the first time ever that a rule change happens mid-season if the Eagles would just march down the field every single play using the brotherly shove, just as a big off-screen bird to the NFL and all the people complaining about it. Like, I'm tired of people complaining about it. I am. It is what it is. But I would love to see it happen. But anyway, let's start the wrap-up process here, trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Eagles are going to win. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to do a live stream watch-along party on Sunday. I'm doing a post-game show on Edge of Philly Sports with Deebs and company after the game. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a stream along. But that's why you've got to turn the notifications on. And also turn the notifications on your phone so you get the notifications. There's a chance I'll do a watch along on Sunday. Haven't made that final decision. In fact, I'm going to put a poll out on Twitter and see if people really want this. Every defense will keep running the dime zone blitz defense like the last 3 games. Yeah. Goodell would change the rule by halftime. It's possible. I think it would be hilarious. I mean, I don't want to risk everybody getting hurt because everybody get hurt doing that. But man, that would be something, wouldn't it? All of a sudden, I'm about to wrap this show up, and we've got our we're up passing 25, 27 viewers live right now. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes. All these new people getting in, hit the like button and drop your predictions for the Eagles game, and let me know if you want me to do a live watch party on Sunday. If you want me to stream live, I'll have my game on my side screen over here, and we can talk as the game's going on. Let me know if you want me to do that or not. Even if they change the rule, we'll still do a quarterback sneak with that. Yeah, exactly. Jalen Hurts, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. There is no doubt. Um, anyway, we got to wrap this up here. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. If you're watching on replay, hit that like button, man. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications on. Um, seriously, would like to see Hurts under center more. It's not the way that. I mean, how many quarterbacks in the NFL are under center all the time? Honestly, really, Ryan Tannehill because he's got Derrick Henry to hand it off to all the time. I mean, it's not a common thing in the NFL anymore. The RPO is dominating the NFL. You don't run the RPO under center. But it is what it is. Josh Allen is under center all the time, is he? Maybe I don't watch enough of their games to know that. Um, but sure. I mean, if you want it, great show. Thank you. I appreciate it. We are trending upward every single day on this show. Yeah, I've been a little tired today, little, little lackadaisical today, but it is what it is. It's all good. Josh is an okay version of Wentz. Whoa. Josh Allen is you're putting Josh Allen below Carson Wentz. Wow. That's a bold take at the end. That's a bold take to end the show on right there, Travis. Anyway, we do got to end the show. We got to wrap this up. No overtime today. Time to get to work. It is Friday. It is a pizza shop business. Come see me at the pizza shop. Grab a slice of pizza. I got a little bit of chili, homemade chili left if you want some. Fox's Pizza Den in Kennett Square. I'll be there all day today and all day tomorrow. Off on Sunday, hopefully. But maybe we'll be doing a watch party here on Sunday. Maybe we'll see. We're gonna maybe I'll just do a watch party for like the first half of the game or the second half of the game. I will watch your game time live stream. I watched Philly Mike game time last week. It was fun. Yeah, I've never done one before, Mister. Never done it before. So I'm thinking about it. The best opportunity to do it is a 1 o'clock game for me, time wise and life wise. But we'll see. We'll see how the see how the day today and tomorrow go. My bad. It's all good, man. I love you, Travis. I do, and you're my man because I owe you a pizza. I owe you a pizza when you come to Philly next time. But everybody have a great day. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I'm your host, Bill Stiefel, every single day. But back Monday for sure, 8:15. Maybe Sunday at 1 o'clock for a watch party. But guys, Eagles win 31-10 on Sunday. That is my prediction. That is what I got. That is my time. Y'all have a great weekend and go Birds.